In the desert sun, where cultures bend and shine. From entrepreneurs to voices on the line.
Arizona is more than a place. It's a collection of stories. Stories of people, cultures, and communities that come together in ways both seen and unseen. I'm Ryan Winkle, and this is Arizona Mosaic. Arizona is more than a place in the map. For many of us, it's not just where we live, it's where we begin again. Where dreams are rebuilt, where identities evolve, where communities are formed not by borders, but by stories. The Arizona Mosaic is about those stories, the voices of the people who choose Arizona not just as a destination, but as a home. In this pilot episode, we listen to individuals who come from different backgrounds, professions, and paths, but share one common truth. They chose Arizona to build their future.
First of all, community is my face. So building community is building family. And building a healthy community impacts my family. And so, being a state representative is doing, not just saying. And so being able to share the experiences that I have, and more importantly, represent what my community's concerns and fears, issues, ideas are. And that's important because that stimulates the economy, our business, and everything else. And so sharing our community's concerns and issues, and elevating businesses that are successful and models, that's the best that you can do. And so also being on the national side, reminding those that the base is community. And so it's important to be in my family, and being a legislator with 2 young girls and showing them that, everything and how to get engaged in community is extraordinarily important to me.
For Janelle Cavaro, Arizona isn't just where she lives, it's where her purpose became clear.
First, being the first Pinay elected in Arizona is an honor. And being able to share my culture, my history, is also a great, tremendous responsibility and honor, both for my family, my community. But I think that being a Phil-Am in Arizona is also unique because we're able to not just, share our culture, but see the blend. In Arizona, what's so unique is we've been here, there's this misnomer that there are not brown people in Arizona, which is untrue. We've been here for a very long time.
People think it's cactuses. I've heard that many times.
Cactuses,
isn't it just cactuses and horses and cowboys?
Exactly. And it's super funny because that's not the case. We've been here from you'll hear about Chinese chorizo to Blasians, and all that has been embedded in Arizona. And being a Filipino American, it's surprising because we've had businesses here, we've had communities built here. You have a population that's over 55. And so, helping seniors in care, that's part of our culture.
Right.
And so, being a business person, but also someone who's a Filipino American and blending all the things that we love so much, Arizona is a hotbed for that. So it's super unique in that sense. And, it's so funny. People are like, Arizona, this, but more importantly, what I tell everybody is we're 120 degrees proven. We operate in 120 degrees. We hit doors when it's 120 degrees. We do everything you could possibly do in the heat and more. And it just shows the passion for our state.
Her story reflects what Arizona offers, not just opportunity, but belonging. For Julia Senna, Arizona became a canvas, a place where creativity meets identity.
I am a content creator here in Arizona. I do a lot of content around diversity and inclusion as a plus size Filipina, which I'm very proud to be. And so I like to use a lot of my areas of influence and the spaces that I get in to talk about equity when it comes to Filipino, when it comes to people in bigger bodies, when it comes to people just in marginalized bodies in general. So that's what I do with my platform, and I'm just happy to be here to connect more with people in my community.
Her voice represents a generation building community through connection.
I grew up in an environment that really, unfortunately, made me and taught me to feel less about myself because of the way I was. I grew up the daughter of an evangelical pastor, but coming from those religious environments and having this very constructed view of what a person's supposed to be. And if we were to go outside of this box, we are not living up to, the standard. And I think that just correlates so much with, how our world is ran and how people and these systems of oppression try to keep us in this box. So when I was scrolling through my feed in college, seeing all these beautiful people online, I'm like, wow, these women, they're more full-figured, they're more curvier. And for me, that wasn't something I was used to seeing. I was used to seeing the models like
Victoria's Secret.
Exactly. If you're not a 00, you're nothing practically. And so seeing that, wow, there's these women online and they're getting this type of acknowledgement. That's something I was not used to. And I realized, I'm like, wow, there's, a beautiful, diverse group of these women who are more full-figured. But I realized there wasn't really anyone who looked like me, though. There was more curvier people, but I didn't see textured dark hair. I didn't see brown skin. And I realized that this was an opportunity to be the representation that I was wanting to see. So I started posting more fashion videos online, and I even got to work with many brands at the time, and it was such a blessing. But knowing that there was just this lack of representation for people who didn't fit that construct.
For Erica Varela, Arizona wasn't just a business decision, it was a leap of faith.
My family, my dad and my mom, and they've always been entrepreneurs. They've always told us that in order for us to be successful, we needed to get an education and to start our own business. My father and my mother, they never wanted us to work for anybody, so they always told us that if we wanted to be free, we needed to have our own business. And that was my initiation with entrepreneurship with my dad. My dad owned many businesses. He moved around a lot, but he had a great life and he always made things happen. So.
And he also essentially inspired you, your brother, your sisters. All of you are in some kind of building or construction or trade right now.
That is true, yes.
Right.
Her journey is a story of courage and community and trust. For Flor Magbanwa, Arizona offered something deeper than success. It offered peace.
I'd like to involve myself in a lot of community events, and I was the president of the Council of Filipino Organizations, which is an umbrella. One.
You're always there. You've been there forever.
Right. I've been volunteering since I moved here in the United States in 1995, and with the Council of Filipino Organization, it's like an umbrella organizations wherein we have 35 plus Filipino American organizations underneath us, and I get to serve. I get to serve as the president of the council last year.
Yeah, and that was actually one of the best events I've actually ever been to. To be honest, yeah.
Thank you so much. And besides that, I am a nurse entrepreneur, so hence the word nursepreneur.
Yeah.
Rather than entrepreneurs, because I always want to put nursing first before my business side.
Yeah.
So, nursepreneur.
Sometimes home is not about where you're from, but where you finally feel whole.
I stayed here, and one day I saw someone in the post office. She's a Filipino nurse. And guess what? She gave me an extension of her credit card after first meeting. Yes, this is what we call bayanihan spirit, right? So, and she's not a relative. She was like a stranger, a Filipino stranger who helped me get my life, get started here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Gave me an extension, credit card. Would you do that, Ryan?
I don't know, sometimes.
And I don't know what I did.
That's why my
She just
credit's so bad. I
here.
lend it all the time.
Here. And it's like, what is it? I don't even know about credit cards or whatever. Anyway, she said, this will help you get started. Handed me an extension for a credit card. And then told me to go to a nursing home and apply because they sponsor Filipino nurses. And I got it. And that was the start.
Wow.
Yeah. Like the generosity of a Filipino stranger, a bayanihan spirit in its purest lived form.
Well, I hope this is coming out in your book.
That's actually is my intro.
For Sandy Patino, Arizona became a place of rebuilding.
I think the unique things about here is not just the people that are coming in, but also like the unique places. I mean, Sedona is amazing. There's a lot of like great getaways here where you can either just drive or like rent a car and then like find like all these like awesome places, and they're all like driving distance. 2 hours, 3 hours, like Sedona, Flagstaff. So I think that's what makes Arizona so unique.
For Mark Balin, Arizona represents possibility.
I'm local here. I'm a global ambassador for the Universal Peace Federation. I'm a 2-time Congressional Award winner, and I'm also a 3-time international bestseller. I'm married, 20 years. My wife's a nurse here in Phoenix, 2 hospitals. My kids graduated from U of A and are very successful. I'm about to be a grandpa in March.
For David Baxter, Arizona is about impact.
This is all about trying to find a way to end poverty in the United States. I struggled through poverty a lot in my youth. I had to teach myself web development, build a career, get into it, lie my way into my own career because I couldn't afford college.
That's a great statement. Lie my way to my own career. That's awesome.
But nobody should have to do that. It's not fair. We should be able to excel just based on merit.
Different stories, different journeys, and different backgrounds, but one shared belief that Arizona is a place where communities rise together, where identity is not erased but respected, where opportunity is not limited but shared.
For our community, it's very important to actually go back to your roots of being a Filipino, and it's not because you want to be with your people. Well, that's one thing also, but the good thing is there's a thing, say in Philippines, we have this culture. It's called the bayanihan.
Yeah.
And even here in Arizona, we practice that, and that's the culture that I hold close to my heart, because the reason there's so many members or there's so many group of Filipinos here with different kinds of Filipino community, but it's actually only one Filipino community in Arizona. It's because of that.
Yes,
we have the same values when it comes to helping each other, especially when there's crisis involved.
Right.
And that's where our culture, the Filipino culture, come out.
Right.
The value of our being helpful to each other. And that very important to be in a group or to be in the Filipino community in that way you can help others.
Yeah.
And maybe if you need help too, you can get some help from the group. Because if they don't know you, if nobody know you, you cannot get some help if you need it to. And I'm sure you can also help people if you were part of the group.
Here again in Arizona, I just wanted to mention, it's just amazing to see our leadership here. Like a lot of organizations are led by strong Pinoy, like Filipinos. Look at our Conjun.
Yeah.
Look at Junelle Cavero.
Yeah, she's here today too.
At the Arizona House of Representatives.
Yeah.
So to see that here in Arizona, to finally see the representation coming along, that kind of inspires me to keep on doing what I'm doing and try to be visible. Not myself visible, but try to make the Filipino community here in Arizona visible, that hey, we're here.
And the connection to the Mexican community.
And also the connection to the Mexican community, and showing other Filipino communities that yes, we do have Filipinos here in Arizona, because there may be communities outside like, oh, I didn't know there's Filipinos there in Phoenix.
83,000.
Yuma, Yuma's got a active community. Tucson's got active.
The stories that you've seen today are just a few pieces of a much larger picture. Arizona Mosaic is about connection, about listening, about learning, and about recognizing that while our stories may begin in different places, they often lead to the same home. Thank you for being part of our journey. This is Arizona Mosaic.
And RCR, hand in hand they weave. With heart because heart and Ryan's led we believe. Arizona Mosaic, stories in the light. Every tale we tell ignites the night. Hosted by Ryan Winkle, ACC so true. Join the grassroots, call your stories breaking through. Leaders, creatives, everyday dreamers rise. Authentic threads in Arizona skies. No just for cash, but partners side by side. Resources, spots, support, let's turn the tide. Arizona Mosaic, stories in the light. Every tale we tell ignites the night. Hosted by Ryan Winkle, ACC so true. Reach out today, every story matters. From supplies to the stars, we're building this art. Marcy Goma's vision straight from the heart. Connect, collaborate, let's make it grow. Arizona Mosaic, where the real stories flow.